Welcome to a sad day in American history. This is a tragedy. This is not America. But it's funny being up here talking to you because a lot of you right after Election Day, I didn't want to talk to. Let's just say I felt that talking to you could be very risky, very emotionally risky. And the first week after November 8th, I was very picky about who I talked to. I'm not apologizing. I'm talking to you now, but you need to understand, this is a monologue, not a conversation. Because to be honest with you, I'm not sure I'm that open to talking to everybody even now. And a lot of you I didn't want to talk to, it's coming, because you're white. That's a hard problem to have in Santa Fe. And on November 8th, that problem got a lot worse. I've heard people say, well, black people commit more crimes. I have to be more watchful around black people. Well, taking voting for Trump as a crime, who committed it? 60% of white male voters voted for Trump. Half the white female voters voted for Trump. That means, let's break it down like on the news. If I'm on a street corner with a black man, a black woman, okay, I'm safe. Take out the black man, put in a Hispanic man. Okay, probability factor goes up a little bit. But if I see a white person, whoa, red light. They're liberal white people in Santa Fe. But the problem was, and is, that I really only wanted to talk with anybody about racism. And my record with talking to liberal white people is still not that good. So my conversations with white people got very watchful and perfunctory. Hey, that's wild about the election, man. Red light, white guy, red alert. I don't want to talk with you, by the way, does not include pass me the sugar. Or where's the toilet? Hello, goodbye. It's what's in between. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Basically, I don't want to talk with you meant I'm not sure I want to rap with you, especially now. Exceptions. Let's say I've already had a meaningful conversation with you about race. Say you're 12 years old. Say you're homeless. Maybe because then you have so little invested in white privilege that I can still talk with you. But those exceptions were far between. So I walked around and I heard quite a lot of this. Trump, man, Trump, I just didn't think he could win. Okay, I'm sympathetic to that, but whenever I hear that, I still see that. Imagine a white family looking at the White House today, Inauguration Day. Honey, where'd those white people come from? Those white people in the White House. I have never seen white people like those people at our family picnic. Those white people must be on your mama's side of the family. Where do those white people come from? I'm looking at white people on Inauguration Day in them KKK robes, and white people with them NASCAR signs, and some of them white people is wearing them Nazi insignias. Where'd those white people come from? Honey, what must have happened, I got so into this business with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and all of them tapes coming out of WikiLeaks. I got so involved, I plumb forgot them type white people existed. That must have been what happened. Yeah, well, like I say, I'm sympathetic, but some of us don't forget. And if I don't want to talk to you, it's because I really didn't want to have conversations like the ones I'd had before. Whenever I talk about racism, I get this. But you're not saying I'm a racist, are you? Often from one of these people in Santa Fe that tend to be over-invested in a spiritual identity. And they're always having an emotional moment. And when they have an emotional moment, everything has to stop. Time has to stop. I see that traffic over there. It's got to stop. And pre-Trump, I give answers like, well, you need to see racism is not necessarily an individual trait. Racism exists in society. Racism is something everybody is susceptible to, but whites who have greater privilege are particularly susceptible to. Excuse me. I'm not really sure those answers ever did much good, and that was pre-Trump. Post-Trump, I'm really a bit worried the conversation's gonna go like this. But you're not calling me a racist, are you? Okay, yeah, all right, if you want the Twitter version, Or they'd ask about poor white people. There are poor white people. I've known a lot of poor white people because of where I'm from. Let me tell you a little about South Carolina, where I'm from. Miss Sharon, 10th grade, book report. First book I ever really read. Kafka, The Metamorphosis. Stay up all night. Turn in my book report. Miss Sharon, next day, calls me to the desk, hands me my report with a big F written on top. Tells me I copied my report. First job interview I ever had. Throwing papers. Go to the interview. All this guy wants to talk about for the interview is school busing. School busing. I'm required to agree with him about stopping school busing, or else I don't get the job. For years I was a parking lot attendant. The boss was a fierce Confederate, and every time we'd take a long trip, sometimes we'd have to go an hour away, he would wait till then to start on his spiel about how the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. And of course we're out on the highway, and there's a threat he could kick me out of the car. Or if I disagree too much, I lose my job. Basically, poor white people in the South have a lot of power, mainly power to make other people shut up. They have the power because of numbers or gerrymandering to send Dixiecrat politicians to the White House, and those people will pass laws that make sure women don't have the right to choose, and lots of black people end up in prison, and overall make sure that black people in South Carolina remain poorer. If I don't want to talk to you, it's because I don't want to talk to Trump voters. And I don't want to talk to a lot of middle-class Sanders liberals who didn't vote and effectively made black people, brown people, and immigrants collateral damage for their war against the Democratic Party. But most of all, I didn't want to have another conversation where I say the word white privilege and the person I'm talking to, it would be easier to show you. Imagine a movie. A guy is walking along having an average day on an average afternoon, and then he sees the Grim Reaper with a Stroud and a scythe and a magic. Because that's how white people react when I talk about white privilege. And right now, after the election, if I can't talk to you about white privilege, I don't know if I'm even feeling it. So what can we talk about other than that we can't talk? Maybe there are a few of you in the Trump era who won't hit the floor when I say white supremacy. And anyway, I know that many of you are just as disappointed in what has happened in America as I am. And maybe, though I'm not promising anything, we can still talk about the country we used to have.